Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. It's from a guy, he's 23 years old, and he shares his story about events that happened not too long ago about how an ex-friends of benefits of his tried to baby trap him. However, because this guy obviously was smart and took measures to protect himself, which you'll see as I go through the story, he was obviously able to foil her plans, and the meltdown ensued. And you're going to see in this story, guys, how from the beginning, when he started his friends of benefits relationship with her, he could tell there was something off. He could tell that there was some crazy there. But like a lot of young guys, they see a hot girl, they know darn well the stereotype that the crazy ones that are hot are usually wild in bed. And of course, he gets involved with her, and what he knew in his gut, of course, happened. That'll be a great one to go over here, guys. One, for the entertainment value, but two, how you must, as tempting as it is, don't put your D in crazy. And I know a lot of you aren't going to listen to me, but you're going to just understand this. I got to say it. And also how a guy must always provide his own protection. Do not believe I'm on the pill nonsense. Otherwise, that could be something that will haunt you for the rest of your life. Always bring your own protection. Dispose the protection, etc., etc., because you never know when one of these nut jobs decides they want to trap you, either because they really want you or they want to punish you, and you get the point. Now, real quick, before I go through this story, I'm going to read a real quick email from a guy who recently wrote me about a little situation he had, and showing how, well, once again, how the gals are always trying to get free shit from guys and how he handled it. He says here, "Hey, SSM. Well, I just got off 6 nights of hell at work. We're in the middle of our spring shutdown for major maintenance. Anyway, when I'm on a night shift, it also messes up my family, so nobody was in the mood to cook dinner tonight. So I went to a local hibachi place like we like to frequent for some takeout. I walked through the door, and on the waiting for a seat bench, I saw the corner of my eye a mid to late 20s brunette with a resting bitch face. She was seriously pissed about something, and I immediately said to myself, she's been stood up. Anyway, I see my friend Barry, who's an 84-year-old Vietnam veteran, sitting at the bar. I go sit by him, and we are yucking it up about war stories and sea stories. All my shipwreck friends ought to be grateful we didn't have cell phones with cameras, otherwise you'd probably just now be getting out of prison. I digress. Right in the middle of Barry and I yucking it up with this brunette, she comes over and sits beside me at the bar and makes it loudly known that she's been stood up, and when the bartender asked her if she wanted something, she said she can't afford one more drink. Or she could afford one more drink. So it's no accident they're having a private conversation. This young pretty girl, who obviously knows she's good looking, is pissed off, goes to the bar, makes it known about her situation, probably hoping for guys to buy her a drink. You get the point. I know that it was a hint for one of us guys to buy the drink. So what did my a-hole self do? I told the bartender to get my friend Barry a drink on me. She desperately tried to interject herself into our conversation. I hate that. You're having a conversation, buddy, people stick their nose in your conversation. We stop and politely let her say what she had to say and then resume our conversation. He says, "Look, I'm soon to be 54 years old and seriously nothing to look at. I consider myself a Sigma male. My wife has been with me through thick and thin for a few decades. I knew exactly what this young gal was up to. Yeah, she wanted to use you for free drinks. She was looking for free drinks and possibly a free meal from some simp at the bar. In my younger days, I would have probably fallen for this scam thinking I might get some sugar in return. Most guys would fall for that." He says, "God, I wish I had this content when I was in my younger days. I made every simp, nice guy mistake that there was. I went through a bad divorce, lost everything, but built it back by the time I was 30. Now I have a loyal woman who stuck by my side through good times and bad, even sickness and health. Yeah, I got a unicorn. I hope I don't have to write you in 20 years with a horror story about that. Never know these days until it hits you in the face." There you go, guys. Quick story, but shows you right there. How many guys been to the bar and a girl sits down and tries to stick her nose in your conversation, and she's pretty and tries to get you to buy a drink, and you buy the drink, and then, oh, well, I gotta go. Or she walks across the bar and you never hear from her again. Don't be that guy. Now on to the main story about the guy with the girl who tried to baby trap him. He says here, "Hey SSM, I've been watching for a couple years and I love the videos. Makes me smile ear to ear when I hear someone getting what they deserve, man or woman. The story happened early this year, and I've been debating whether or not to send it in. Some of the people involved know about your channel, and I didn't want to deal with any more BS. But I'll take the chance because how funny it is. I'm not much of a writer, so apologies in advance. Well, it'll be interesting to see if people that recognize this story reach out to him and give him hell. About 6 months ago, I, a 23-year-old male, started a friends with benefits relationship with a girl we'll call Sophia, a 19-year-old female. We met at a friend's party and hit it off. At first, I was hesitant because I could tell she was a little nuts. Red flag, gentlemen. His gut was telling him something. We can all tell. A lot of guys are clueless, let's be honest here, but you can tell the crazy one. There's something about them, and usually it's the eyes. They got crazy eyes. So watch out for those eyes. You know the Congresswoman, AOC? Watch her talk. She's got crazy eyes. Oh, good Lord. And I'm sure there's other ones out there you could point out with crazy, but that's one I can think of right now. Go on YouTube, type AOC, watch her talk. She's got crazy eyes. Maybe she's wild in bed. I don't know. She was complaining about her ex-boyfriend less than 10 minutes into the conversation. Shocker. Blaming him for the usual nonsense. Controlling, insecure, and a few more of their favorite buzzwords. I don't date, so I figured I would just have some bedroom fun and break it off. I didn't do one-night stands, so I got her number and texted her a few days later after the party. I made it very clear before anything happened that I wasn't looking for anything serious, and she seemed okay with that. So there's the difference between the nice guys and the bad boys, or guys like this. They're not hiding anything. He made it clear, I'm not interested in a relationship. We can either hang out and have a good time, or we don't. I don't care either way. And she knows exactly what she's dealing with. She's not dealing with some nice guys kissing her ass, buttering her ass like a piece of bread, telling her everything she wants to hear, and she really can't trust. This is why a lot of gals are attracted to guys like this, because they're upfront and they don't care. Or these girls will think, okay, a-hole, I'll change your mind, I'll win you over. She started coming over once or twice a week, and everything seemed fine. I'd usually cook dinner for us, and then we'd get down to business shortly afterwards. I wouldn't have kept her around so long, but the SCX was pretty great. That's what happens to the crazy girls. She was into all the same kinky stuff that I was, and I can't lie, the thought of dating her crossed my mind more than once. Yeah, because you can get all the freaky stuff whenever you want it, but there's a price you pay for the freaky bedroom action. What percentage of your time are you actually spending doing the dirty deed versus when you're not doing it and dealing with her? Those ideas were short-lived once I started thinking with my head up north. After 2 months, I broke it off with her because I could tell she was starting to get attached. Showing up uninvited, leaving stuff in my place, and trying to spend the night. I met her in public, hoping that would stop her from making a scene. If you think that a gal who you know deep down maybe be a bit emotional, a bit dramatic, flair for the dramatics, is not going to behave in such a manner out in public, you're wrong. But at least you did it in public, so things can't be said about what you did. You get the point. When I told her we need to stop seeing each other, she started sobbing almost instantly. Weren't you the guy that made it abundantly clear you're not interested in relationships? Well, she thought she could change you. I wasn't in the mood to deal with that, so I just got up and left. When I drove away, she started texting me, asking me where I went and if I could come back and talk to her about it. I blocked her phone number, and I put her back in the back of my mind. I didn't hear anything for 2 weeks, so I figured I was in the clear until one day I got a knock at my door. There is no way you're in the clear, dude. You'll never guess who was at the door with a big smile on her face and her mother in tow. I tried to shut the door, but she said something that made my heart drop to the floor. As the door was closing, she just blurted out, "I'm pregnant." And he's like, oh, sweet Lord. I opened the door, and they asked if they could come in and talk. Instead, I walked them out to the park near my apartment complex. They immediately started with how I'm the father and how I need to support Sophia and our child. Okay, if we can have it proven that I am in fact the father of this child, then I will do everything possible to provide, and you get the point. But until then, I guess me starting to laugh was not the answer they were expecting, because Sophia's mom started yelling at me almost instantly. When we had SEX, I always used a condom and made sure it was the one that I brought and kept in a safe location that she didn't know about. I also would put the condom in a plastic bag in my pocket until she left once we were finished. Call me paranoid, but there's no way I'm having a kid with this broad. Shouldn't be having a kid with any broad if you don't want to. But guys, there's more to this. And wait till you see how she reacts and her mother reacts when she finds out. I told them that as much as they just said, I told them as much, and they just said that condoms weren't 100% sure, and I was the only guy that she's been sleeping with. Somehow a very hard time believing that, given that she was so easily the friends with benefits, and you can just tell. They both looked pretty satisfied with themselves after that until I dropped the bombshell I've been waiting for. I had a vasectomy 3 years prior to our meeting. I love to see the look on their faces when you mention that. They're probably like, "Now, you're lying." For anyone wondering, I had to lie about having 2 kids so I could get one at 20 years old. I never wanted kids, and I wasn't going to leave it up to chance. I would pay a lot of money for a picture of the look on their faces when I said that. Sophia just started crying, and her mom started yelling at me that I was lying and I had to be the father. Okay, take a test. You'll see what happens. I just told them to schedule a paternity test if they want, but she's going to have to find some other sucker to father the bastard child. Ooh. After that, I got up and started to walk away when Sophia ran up and grabbed my arm. She was still sobbing, so everything she said didn't make any sense. Yeah, I've heard that before. You can understand some words, but the rest, they sound like a Tuscan Raider going off. I tried to get her mom to pull her off, but she was still screaming at me like it was all my fault. You know, this sounds like the situation where the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. So I said I would stay and talk. But the second she let go of my arm, I identified as Usain Bolt and ran my ass up back to my apartment. That was the last I heard of either of them. I guess they figured I wasn't going to back down and gave up. I guess the moral of the story is don't stick your you-know-what in crazy and always protect yourself. That's what I said in the beginning. Now, I hope you remember this story, brother, as you go about your escapades as a young man and is moving up in the world, moving up into his prime when he gets to be 30 years old. I could have written a longer version with more details, but I'm not such a storyteller. Thanks for everything you do for the community SSM, and keep up the good work. Well, bro, that's a good story. I enjoyed reading it. It's quick to the point, but definitely entertaining. So, guys, remember, when you see the crazy, as tempting as it is, it's not worth it. Because think about the very minimal time you spend rolling in the hay with the crazy versus everything you're going to be dealing aside from that. But I know at 45 years old, telling you young guys in your 20s this, or teens this, yeah, it's going to go one ear out the other. You got to learn the fucking hard way, as did I. But one of the best things you can tell are the eyes. The eyes will always give it away, the crazy. So just keep an eye out for the eyes. But also, guys, always take protection. Always bring your protection, wear the protection, dispose your protection, because a lot of gals will say they're on the pill, and magically, by the grace of God, they suddenly get pregnant. I know multiple women in their 30s who were at a point they wanted to get married and have kids, and just every single, I can think of 4 different gals I'm acquainted with, just magically happened to get pregnant even though they were on the pill and never had a problem up until that moment when they happened to have a guy with them who they knew was relationship material, and the clock's ticking and they want to get that ring and they want to get married. Every single one of these are all gals in different circles that I'm acquainted with, all around the same time. It's amazing. So just be careful. You don't want to be that guy and trapped in a situation you don't want to be in. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. And guys, you got a great story you'd like to share with me, your own personal story, definitely email me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will when I get the chance. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.